Come on, you've had this. Come on, you've seen juice before. Hey, yo, you got the juice now. Y'all never seen juice? You young punks. Well, listen, I'm going to tell you right now. I think he did that shit. He did that shit. I searched the internet, the dark web, the American Online 8.0, the Netscape. I searched it. I cannot find any herbal tea with that shit up in it. But what we're going to do is we're going to go listen to a little bit of Tim Bradley's rant that he did on ESPN Plus, the state of boxing here. And yeah, we got some shit to talk about. Growing up, Juice was one of my favorite movies. I ain't gonna lie to you. But listen, let's listen to Valdez first. Let's listen to this tea. So basically, he's saying he don't know how it got in his system, and if it got into his system, then... Oh, wait, let me turn it up.
A stimulant prohibited by the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association. You don't have a prescription, do you?
No, I don't have no prescription.
How did it happen?
What I can say is that I'm a 100% clean fighter. I don't know how that got into my body. I know every fighter is responsible for whatever they consume. But on behalf of myself, I have no clear answer how that got into my body. I've always been and I will always be a clean fighter, so I have no serious question of how that got into my body.
If I'm Conceicao,
yes,
and I get this news, I'm upset. And there's no great trust anymore. I mean, we've seen people deny using performance-enhancing substances for decades now. People we thought we could trust, they turned out to be liars.
yes.
Now, I like you. I know how hard you train, but still, people wonder. If I'm your opponent, I wonder too.
Yes.
Should he be fighting you? If you were him, would you fight you?
If I was him, I would 100% fight me because it's a chance to win a world title. The world title is still on the line. And if being more honest, if I were to Conceicao and I would think, what is he taking? Oh, he's taking a substance to lose weight? Oh, well, that's a pretty dumb move because he's losing weight way too early from the fight. So it means he might be maybe drained or overtrained. I don't know. But as far as there's no performance-enhancing drug or as far as steroids or anabolics or growth hormones, those type of drugs, I believe that would make a difference and could hurt somebody. It could actually kill somebody, which I wouldn't believe it should be even stripped from the belt or cancel the fight. I think someone who uses those type of drugs should go to jail. I would never do that. I wouldn't even take this substance that came out in my system. I would never try. I would never intentionally taken it.
So before we get to the next part, that is from ESPN Plus. It's called The State of Boxing. So basically, I just searched top-ranked content, and this pops up. So, go through the particulars. T Street controversy with Fight View 360, and guess what? Boxing season is upon us. It looks like we don't have any breaks for a long time. So, we're going to be here every week. Press conferences. If you don't know, Holyfield versus Vitor Belfort is this Saturday. Oscar De La Hoya came down with the COVID. That press conference, which I am looking forward to, this fight is going to be hilarious. It's going to be on Triller this Saturday for $50. So it's going to be Holyfield versus Belfort, and they're trying to get it sanctioned to be like an actual fight on their records and shit. You're going to have Anderson Silva versus Tito Ortiz, Andy Vincent's versus, I think this is the guy's name, versus John O'Carroll. And you're going to have David Haye also trying to get sanctioned. So that means he's coming out of retirement, right? To fight a sparring partner, his homie. But that's a whole different card. We're talking about you know what I noticed? Let me say something. Of language, and I am toning down on the cursing. But of course I'm not a fucking doctor. But we have every right to speculate and talk about, bro, Oscar Valdez is a WBC champion. All WBC champions are subject to VADA drug testing. You fail a VADA test, you should be stripped. And more importantly, this fight should not go on. So all this about this, herbal tea and how it got into his body, like, bro, I don't believe none of that shit. These athletes, multi-million-dollar athletes, hundreds of thousands of dollars that they make, they are responsible when they sign the paperwork to know what not to put in their body. Everywhere they go, they pick up something. Before they eat it, they gotta read labels. Remember that dumb shit Anthony Joshua almost did? It was something going on in the UK. I forgot what it was, but it was Anthony Joshua and Floyd Mayweather. Somebody gave Anthony Joshua some food, and he was really about to eat that shit. You can't go over people's houses and eat. You can't motherfucking say, yo, I want some motherfucking street tacos. And your mom half black, half Mexican, half Irish. I listen, and I'm on PEDs. I'm on prednisone right now. I'm on the juice. But when you're an athlete, you can't just be like, yo, I'm gonna go to the corner store or the bodega, and pick up, I want some iced tea. You gotta look at that bottle and you gotta be like, what's in this shit? Hold up, I don't know what that means. Let me pull up my phone, Google. Like, no, I'm not trying to hear it. And for him to say he don't know how it got into his system. So let me pull up the card, and we're going to listen to Tim Bradley and what Andre Ward had to say about it. Tim Bradley told him a new asshole. I don't agree with it because Tim Bradley, I don't put it this way. Tim Bradley, there's a certain amount of professionalism you should have because he's calling the fight. And also, he has to have a fighter meeting later on this week, I'm guessing, with Valdez. So all that saying he should get knocked out and all that, it's like, damn, I'm digging that he said it, but it's like, all right, bro, like, chill a little bit. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm turning into a bitch. I don't know. But yo, you can't, you just can't be putting shit in your body. And I'm sorry, you got to take accountability. Now look, and I'm Mexican, all right? So this is not bigotry. I'm half Mexican. I'm saying that the WBC does have a reputation. And when I signed up with the WBC Vive network, and I got a whole video coming, because I've been getting comments. My birthday was last week, so I didn't celebrate last week. And I'm giving you guys, because I like you guys. Even though some of you are low down degenerates, porn and gambling addicts, still, even though we never met, I consider you, what I'm saying, my homies, So when I first signed up with the WBC Vive network, I said, yo, listen, I can't shill, right? I can't be like, because we got the fucking logo down here, I can't be like, yo, I'm saying, but yo, people saying because the WBC Mexican, they couldn't strip our Mexican brother. Why can't we talk about that? Or because the fact that Oscar Valdez is in Canelo's camp, Eddie Reynoso, like, bro, Andy Ruiz lose all this weight. Ryan Garcia goes on a mental health layoff. We're not supposed to talk about it? Are we not supposed to talk about it? So anyway, no, they said, I checked my ancestry.com. I'm El Chicano, El Negro Mexicano. Like, that's a real different breed. I'm that good shit. So what was I doing? Oh yeah, let's go listen to Tim Bradley. He was hot. Tim Bradley was pissed with his floral shirt on. So yeah, if you have ESPN Plus, I find ESPN Plus to be essential, to be honest with you. But if you don't have ESPN Plus, then, you got to get with the program. The shit's only $5. And what is it now? They did go up. Isn't it like $20 for all three? Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus? I have like all the apps except the only app I don't have is Voodoo, I think. I even got Pluto and all that shit. But anyway, let's listen to Tim Bradley. He was hot.
Well, Bernardo, in my opinion, they're doing it because boxing's corrupt. But the reason they're giving publicly is that they're following.
Hold on, we do have to talk about the whole card. Because basically, no matter what, I was going to do this video. That's my new routine now. I do like fight week previews, like 30 minutes or so, only talk about the whole card. So I didn't do a video this weekend because, frankly, I was chilling. My motherfucking birthday weekend. So people like, oh, T Street, because you with the WBC now, you shilling, and you ain't gonna say nothing about him, you sellout ass nigga, all this shit. Motherfucker, y'all make me sick. Like, damn, y'all forget, like, I'm a regular dude. I say it all the time. I'm just like you. Except I got all these gadgets and shit, and I do kind of cover boxing full time. But yo, man, y'all be giving me too much of a hard time. Like, stay off my back. All this stuff I do for you, making sure all this stuff all on the screen. All y'all do is cuss at me and call me names and shit. I'm a person. I'm human.
VADA guidelines. That's with a W, not to be confused by VADA. But it's important to note here, Oscar Valdez insisted on VADA testing, which is more stringent testing for this fight. VADA prohibits many central nervous stimulants like phentermine and does not make a distinction between in competition and out of competition. WADA says in competition starts at 11:59 p.m. the day before the fight. VADA says if you're training for the fight, all substances on the prohibited list are indeed banned, and phentermine is one of them. It is a PED.
Listen to me, fellas. This substance is on the ban list, period. The reason why it's on the ban list because they've done research on it. What does it do? It improves performance, athletic performance. That's what it does. What are we sitting here arguing about whether this fight should go on or should not? This fight shouldn't go on, period. This man is completely dirty. I don't care what he says. I don't care if he don't understand how he got it in his body. The fact of the matter is, it is in his body. And the fact that he tested dirty, this fight should be canceled out, period. Disrespectful, another black eye to boxing if this fight goes on next week.
Well, first, I just want to start by giving a shout out to VADA because they seem to be the only ones that are catching fighters, you know, in the last, 5, 6, 7 years. And, you know, they deserve a tip of the cap. But, you know, to Oscar Valdez, this isn't difficult. You know, when simple things are starting to become difficult, it's because individuals who are involved don't want to acknowledge the reality of this situation. The reality of this situation is that Oscar Valdez was in the VADA program. Under the VADA program, like Mike Coppinger just said, this stimulant that he just took, or which was found in his system, is banned, period. Banned means banned. In competition and out of competition. And when you listen to Oscar Valdez's sound bites, you know, he talks about how, you know, it was just, I don't know how it got there, but then his lawyer a couple of days ago or yesterday just said that it came from tea. So which one is it? But when you talk to reputable people in the industry and in this field, they tell you that this is something that you can't find in tea. You actually need a prescription for it, and you don't just lose weight from it. It gives you energy, it gives you endurance, amongst many other things. So to me, this isn't hard. Mike is right. It's another backhand to the face to the fans and the people that truly support the sport of boxing and who fight for the sport of boxing at the water cooler at work, telling people that, hey, boxing is turning around. It's not like it used to be. And then something like this happens. I'm not surprised that the fight is taking place. I'm not surprised that the WBC is backing Oscar Valdez and trying to give him a slap on the wrist. Follow the money, fellas. That's what all of these people do. They follow the money, and that's ultimately what it's all about. And the last thing is this. Even writers who refuse to write about this, there are people like Mike.
All right, before I let Andre Ward get to his next part, we do have to do, you know, our part because we're not just here to talk about Oscar Valdez. So before we get back to that and listen to Oscar Valdez's statement, one with Mark Kriegel and one he released on his social media platforms, let's go look at the card. And actually, I like the card, to be honest, given the bullshit. Valdez, now remember, when this guy first got announced, this Robson Conceição, people were like, I'm talking about not before it was even announced. After Valdez had defeated Berchelt, this guy's name came up probably like a month or so later. I believe I first heard his name from Raging Babe on Twitter. So his name has always been out there for Valdez since pretty much after he beat Berchelt. So I'm guessing this was his like, all right, stay busy, make a little money, you know, type fight that don't really mean nothing. And now the fight is bigger than ever. So 16-0 with 8 KOs, very good amateur background if you haven't heard, chance of a lifetime. And if you're him getting this chance at a title and you don't know if he's probably getting some extra money under the table, you know, why would he turn it down? But overall, we're going to be talking about this all week. Also, I've been waiting for the the Top Rank to release their media schedule. They haven't released their fight week schedule. And normally, by the way, this is a Friday night fight because originally it was supposed to be Oscar De La Hoya versus Vitor Belfort on Saturday. So they didn't want to compete with that. Now it's Holyfield versus Belfort, but we're going to talk about that in tomorrow's video. So originally, this fight is on a Friday night. So theoretically, the press conference is supposed to be tomorrow. Weigh in on Thursday, fight on Friday. There is no fight week events. So they're trying to keep Oscar Valdez away from the media because, frankly, he's getting slaughtered. And what I've noticed is, especially on Twitter, and I just got back on Twitter. I was off Twitter for about a good 3-4 months. Media, they are scared to talk about it because of the affiliation of Oscar Valdez in the camp of Eddie Reynoso. Canelo popped dirty, right? Andy Ruiz lost like fucking 400 pounds. Okay, realistic, like 50, 30. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I should know this already, but you also got Julio Cesar Martinez, the clenbuterol, the steaks. Remember what interview was that? It was a long time ago where basically Estrada was like, I eat the steak. I don't inject that shit. Some shit like that. I'm tired of it. If you're a world champion boxer, if you're a boxer at this point in time, don't eat no fucking street tacos. Get some Omaha steaks or get your steaks delivered. Don't eat no street tacos. You can't use that excuse no more. And for them to come up with this herbal tea bullshit, let me tell you something. You can do it yourself. The first time I ever heard of this drug was this PD scandal. And what did I do? Go straight to Google and Google the name of that shit, which I still can't pronounce. I keep fermentine. And I said, fermentine herbal tea. You can't find it nowhere. I want some of that shit. By the way, unofficially sponsored by Snack. I want some of that shit. I want to lose some. I want to drink some tea and lose some weight and have extra energy. I want some of the nasal spray. I want, sprinkle some clenbuterol on my steak. Like, how come I can't never find none of this shit? Anyway, let's go back now. Listen to this.
Mike, who's sticking his neck out, just not slandering anybody, but just really reporting on the truth. There are some writers who refuse to write about this, who refuse to talk about this for several reasons. They want to stay in good with Oscar Valdez, but more importantly, Canelo Alvarez and Team Alvarez. They want to continue to get access, and they push away the integrity that they had for the sake of keeping a good relationship with this team. And it's just, it's ridiculous. It's sad. And, anytime a fighter gets hurt, we want to say prayers up and we want to say family. Well, maybe if we do something about these sorts of situations, like look them flat-footed in the face and say, listen, we're all going to lose money. This is inconvenient, but you got to sit down. You got to get suspended. Maybe we won't have so many fighters dying in the ring and having to send prayers.
By the way, a poor girl just died in the ring this last weekend. I just feel like this. That if you fail a drug test, you sign the paperwork. I didn't used to when I was a young punk dickhead. I didn't really believe in consequences. I was like, get another chance. But now I strongly believe in consequences. You signed up for VADA. You signed up for it. The drug is on the banned list. You should be suspended. Not having, basically, here, let me pull this up real quick. They're giving him community service. Like, they like, he got to do some classes, give some money to the clean boxing, some bullshit. Like, ain't nobody trying to hear that.
We back Canelo. Trust me on this, man. You know what? The Canelo camp has, there's been a dark cloud kind of, above the Canelo camp for some time now. I mean, you remember back in 2017, Canelo Alvarez test positive for clenbuterol, and he said that it was because it was contaminated meat. Now we're, 2021, and he's saying that, and Oscar Valdez is saying now that it's he drunk a tea with this in the system. I don't get it. I don't get the fact that he drunk a tea. I don't believe it at all. I don't believe his statement at all. I feel that the WBC is making a huge mistake. Honestly, making a huge mistake. And I wish that Jose Sulaiman was back here at the organizing the WBC, 38 years strong to make the sport better. I mean, Jose Sulaiman changed the sport. He changed the sport from 15 rounds to...
I'm going to stop Tim Bradley right there. I'm not going to talk about the dead man, Jose Sulaiman, the father of Mauricio Sulaiman, but You know, he was in cahoots with Don King. That's a whole different, you know. But before we move on, let me finish talking about this card, though. A very, very good card. Junto Nakatani versus Angel Acosta for the WBO 112-pound flyweight title. That is a very, very good fight. That 112-pound division can be unified. Cesar Martinez, speaking of the devil, WBC. Artem Dakalian. I covered his last fight February of 2020. He is, which one is he again? Oh, man, let me pull up the rankings. Hold on. Is he IBF? He's IBF, isn't he? No, Sonny Edwards, who was supposed to fight this weekend, rolled his ankle or some shit. He's been very outspoken about the PEDs. And we are. Go right back down there, 5v360.com. Link down below in the description box. Here we are. Junto Nakatani taking on Angel Acosta. That's going to be a really good fight. The co-feature to Valdez versus Conceicao. Sonny Edwards was supposed to fight this weekend. Dalakanian is going to fight Concepcion. I'm guessing the WBE has ordered that. Cesar Martinez is the WBC champion. That is the co-feature. You got Gabe Flores. He sells a lot of tickets. And also, I've noticed on YouTube, he pulls in a lot of viewers. And you also have Xander Zayas. So overall, I mean, look at these undefeated prospects and fringe contenders right here. This is a very, very good card. You know, now the Oscar Valdez controversy has added some more, you know, spice to the card. Because it's like this, right? You know, like, what if dude gets hurt? You know? Like, what if Conceicao gets hurt? And, you know, like, what the fuck? Like, dude failed the drug test. And the thing is, it's only a drug that, like, you find, like, you can only get a prescription for. It's not something you can go to the drugstore and buy over the counter. And then it has benefits that a fighter would need.
To drinking 3 Red Bulls. Well,
listen
guess
to this.
what? These are not Red Bulls. This is a PE.
And his image, like Canelo's been able to do.
It brings into question everything you did in the recent past, and you can't get mad about that. Team Canelo cannot get upset and walk around with this entitlement as if people are crazy for wondering what's going on in that camp in San Diego. They brought this on themselves.
And, you know, just to be fair to Oscar Valdez, he did test negative for that fight, but we see how this testing goes. It's random and it can happen anytime. Now, about the statement by the WBC, I found it underwhelming, to be honest, but it has all those inconsistencies that define boxing, including that loophole that they're using to allow this fight to happen in Tucson next Friday. And that is that it's a VADA program that the WBC has prescribed to as part of their clean boxing program. Yet, because it didn't suit them in this case to follow the letter of the law as written by VADA in defining that this substance is a stimulant that is banned under their regulations, they go to WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, and say, oh yeah, they say that as long as it's not within the 24 hours prior to the fight in competition, then we can go ahead and just let that slide.
So what's the point of paying VADA then, right? You say, oh no, well, we're not going to use, you know, this. We're going to go with WADA. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And once again, it has to be pointed out, no shilling, but it has to be pointed out that Oscar Valdez is Mexican. Another interesting scenario or situation was when David Benavidez got stripped for the nose candy, the nose clams. So does the WBC, I mean, it just looks bad. It just looks bad. It just looks bad.
Should not be the case for Oscar Valdez right here. He should be punished for having a banned substance in his system, but he should also have the opportunity to rehabilitate himself and his image like Canelo's been able to do, like Tyson Fury has been able to do. But, Cop, I want to bring you in on this because you spoke with Mauricio Sulaiman, the WBC president, and his outlook is completely different on the seriousness of this situation.
Yeah, Mauricio, he didn't take it seriously at all. It was a really frustrating phone call. My favorite part was he likened it to drinking 3 Red Bulls. Well, guess what? These are not Red Bulls. This is a PED.
How dare you?
Prada Pierre has just donated $5. You sicken me.
My ex-girlfriend would get a
My bad, I gotta read that.
used it as an appetite suppressant. You'll be
My bad, I had turned the sound down. Thanks for the super chat. He says my ex-girlfriend would get a prescription for phentermine used as an appetite suppressant. You'll be full quick. It helps with overeating. That's what I've read about it. It suppresses your appetite, also improves your endurance. But once again, people don't like when you start speculating. We ain't no doctors. Just saying, we ain't no doctors.
And the other thing that's curious, and it shows you that this really is a PED, Mauricio says, well, now Valdez is going to be on a probationary period, and if he tests positive for any substance on that same VADA list over the next 12 months, guess what? We're going to suspend him. So wait, so now it's a PED if he tests positive in the next 12 months? Well, right now it's not a PED. You know, Bernardo, what I think back to is when Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He missed a test. They couldn't find him. That's a violation, right? And Nevada wasn't going to sanction him, his fight with Daniel Jacobs. So what did they do? They brought the fight to Arizona, and there was a lot of backlash. People called it commission shopping. Well, right now what we're seeing with this fight is we're seeing testing agency shopping. I don't like it.
Yeah, and I mean, look.
And, you know, it's just, like I said, it's just a bad look, you know? And especially for Camp Canelo. You know, it's just a big, as Andre Ward said, it's just a big cloud. You know, I don't know if it was Andre Ward or Tim Bradley, but it's a big cloud hanging over that camp. You know, like realistically now, I never throw, here, let me turn this up.
That was when he was positive for Clembuter in 2016 when Francisco Bandido Vargas was allowed to WBC. Yeah, and I mean, look, either you're going to apply what's written in your bylaws when you sign up for that VADA testing or you're not. And in the case of the WBC, we've seen it in the past when they've allowed fighters to go ahead and fight after they've been popped for PEDs. We started in 2016 when Francisco Bandido Vargas was allowed to fight Orlando City Salido in defense of the same title that Oscar Valdez is going to defend next Friday. That was when he was positive for clenbuterol. They gave us the fight of the year, but at that time, clenbuterol was banned. Alexander Povetkin was allowed to fight Joanne Duhaupas in Russia after testing positive for Ostarine, although the WBC withdrew its sanctioning of that heavyweight title fight. That was in December of 2016. And Dillian White fought Oscar Rivas in the UK after testing positive for 2 banned substances for the interim WBC heavyweight title. Now, the WBC in this case was not notified of the adverse result prior to the fight and then stripped White of the title after an investigation in July of 2019. So I've always said that boxing is like the wild, wild west where every town has its own sheriff and its own set of laws. So the question, Cop, is what was the right thing for the WBC to do here?
Bernardo, I think the right thing for the WBC here was simple. Strip Oscar Valdez, give him a suspension, any suspension, and set an example. Because now fighters are probably sitting at home thinking, wow, maybe I could take PEDs too and get away with it. This sport is dangerous enough. We had a big PED scandal in baseball. Those guys.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Like you sign up, you sign a contract. They give you a list of everything you're not supposed to take. If it gets found in your system, you should be stripped and suspended, right? Here, let's listen to what Valdez had to say. Let me pull it up real quick. Trying to find somebody who didn't plaster their logo all over it.
My people, I've never used banned substance to enhance my performance. I've never done it. I've always been very respectful for the anti-doping rules ever since I was an amateur Olympian and I was a professional. Ever since I became a world champion in 2016, I've been tested for more than 30 times. I insisted on writing on the VADA testing myself for the Robson Conceição fight and put that under my contract. I would like to thank my manager, Frank Espinosa, my trainer, Eddie Reynoso, and all my team and everybody who's been with me through these tough times. I would also like to thank the Pascuayaki Boxing Commission for letting this fight proceed and hearing my case. I will happily comply with all the situations set forth by the Boxing Commission Council, collaborate with all the program tests and other activities required for me. I hope to see you guys September 10th on my first title defense back in Tucson, Arizona. I wish you all well.
To Mark Kriegel, who didn't see it or hear it earlier.
Mark Kriegel was in San Diego with Oscar Valdez, and this is what the champion had to say.
Oscar, you tested positive for phentermine, a stimulant prohibited by the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association. You don't have a prescription, do you?
No, I don't have no prescription.
How did it happen?
What I can say is that I'm a 100% clean fighter. I don't know how that got into my body. I know every fighter is responsible for whatever they consume. But on behalf of myself, I have no clear answer how that got into my body. I've always been and I will always be a clean fighter, so I have no serious question of how that got into my body.
If I'm Conceicao
Yes.
and I get this news, I'm upset. And there's no great trust anymore. I mean, we've seen people deny using performance-enhancing substances for decades now. People we thought we could trust, they turned out to be liars.
Yes.
Now, I like you. I know how hard you train, but still, people wonder. If I'm your opponent, I wonder too.
Yes.
Should he be fighting you? If you were him, would you fight you?
If I was him, I would 100% fight me because there's a chance to win a world title. The world title is still on the line. And if being more honest, if I were to Conceicao and I would think, what is he taking? Oh, he's taking a substance to lose weight? Oh, well, that's a pretty dumb move because he's losing weight way too early from the fight. So it means he might be maybe drained or overtrained. I don't know. But as far as there's no performance enhancing drug or as far as steroids or anabolics or growth hormones, those type of drugs I believe that would make a difference and could hurt somebody. It could actually kill somebody, which I wouldn't believe it should be even stripped from the belt or cancel the fight. I think someone who uses those type of drugs should go to jail. I would never do that. I wouldn't even take this substance that came out in my system. I would never try. I would never intentionally taken it.
All right, so to be fair, what happened with Oscar Valdez, this is the WBC statement. It will sanction the title fight on September the 10th. Valdez will take numerous tests over the next 6 months. He must test negative, obviously. Enroll in a weight management, hydration, and nutrition program. Upon completion of that program, Valdez will be put on 12 months probation, and then he will become a WBC Clean Program ambassador. So
here, I'm gonna pause this and let's go. This sounds ridiculous. Like, it's like he did a petty crime, like a first offense, like if you ever got booked before, and they say, all right, we're gonna give you probation, and you gotta do some community service, and you gotta pay some restitution. That's pretty much what this is. Bro. So they'll sanction the fight. He has to be basically keep going in for random testing. This is probation. This is teenager misdemeanor probation. Numerous drug tests over 6 months, as he should. Enrollment in a weight management hydration. That's a drug program, pretty much. They say, like, go to rehab. Valdez will be on 12 months probation. All right. And then upon completion, will become a WBC Clean Program ambassador. So basically, he got to do like community service. Go to WBC functions and WBC cares conventions and shit. And talk to the kids about, like, don't drink herbal tea, or make sure you read the label. Don't take PEDs unless prescribed and not on the VADA list. Like, bro. So this is what we're gonna go do. As I said, I've been keeping streams nice and short. Tomorrow we're going to be back, and remember, it's fight week. We have a really busy week on the channel, and if you're interested, Holyfield's fighting this week, so I'm getting ready for all of that. So we got Holyfield versus Belfort, Anderson Silva versus Tito Ortiz, David Haye versus Joe Fournier, and John O'Carroll versus Andy Venice. I forgot the guy's name. And then, of course, we have this card that I'm interested in. And then don't forget that Canelo and Plant are going to be having a press conference. We got to do a whole video on that because Caleb Plant been talking shit. So, all right, yeah. I mean, like I said, I looked up the herbal tea thing and I didn't find. I mean, do it yourself. When you get time, just Google Phentermine, or whatever it is called. What is it? Phentermine. Google that and herbal tea. Like, you're not gonna find it. I did it. Like, that shit's some bullshit. They should have just said, I don't know how it got in my system. Talking about some herbal tea. Like, motherfuckers ain't gonna get on Google, start looking shit up. Like, bro. Like, and the fucked up part about it is, you know, Oscar Valdez and his team, they should know. I know, how dare you? I knew he couldn't beat Berchelt. Yeah, and people looking like, you know, listen. No, I'm not accusing anybody. And what I don't do is when a fighter fail a drug test, I haven't been known to go do videos the first day when the first news comes out. I'm sorry. I'm done with the headline chasing. Like, when news comes out, I just don't run to the computer and just do a video. That's not who I am anymore. I did that shit for years. I don't do it no more. So when it comes to PEDs, I like to take my time, gather some data, do some research, you know, wait for, you know, more news to come out. In this case, I can't ride with him. And respectfully, the Canelo camp does look suspect. Like, it does look suspect. Canelo running through weight divisions. Andy Ruiz losing all his motherfucking weight. Ryan Garcia looking great, phenomenal. I mean, he's young, going on mysterious layoffs. Canelo fell in the drug test. Valdez fell in the drug test. Valdez shit you can only get from a, like, it just all looks bad. Oh, also, Shakur Stevenson and Jamel Herring are having a press conference on Thursday morning, according to ESPN Plus. Like, it just all looks bad. And the thing is, we have a right to speculate, especially for the gamblers, and also people are dying in this sport. You know,
how dare you?
Who's doing that? I think Shakira beats Valdez dirty, you're clean. I don't know. Well, it just looks bad, you know, and we have a right to talk about it. I mean, yeah, I am media, you know, and I don't really like, you know, calling myself media. Like, I really don't, because it got, to me, it's like a negative, like, you know, when you're media, like, oh, you got to keep it professional. You shouldn't be talking about that. You shouldn't be tweeting that. Like, I'm not in, listen, I'm going to be me. I'm self-employed, you know, all my shit is all run by me, and I like that. But you can't just spit on my cupcake and just tell me it's frosting. Like, yo, it looks suspect. We're not supposed to talk about it? No, I'm not no doctor. Just like your Dennis Ugas bicep shit. Motherfuckers getting all bent out of shape. Like, he ain't say he's injured. Ain't no credible writers talking about he's being injured. Why are you talking about it? Like, bro, the shit's right there. The motherfucker got a knot on his arm. And then didn't he confirm it like last week, a few days after the fight? Oh yeah, well, I was injured a little bit. Like, bro, it all looks bad. And then he goes to knock out Berchelt. I mean, to his defense, Berchelt defense was suspect, but this whole situation looks suspect. That's all I'm going to say. So we have fight week. You know, if there's a press conference, because Top Rank has not released the fight week schedule. The fight week schedule would say where the media workout is, if there is one, where the media roundtables are, if there is one, where the final press conference is going to be, if it's open to the public, where the weigh-in is going to be, if it's open to the public, where to get the photos, post-fight press conference. They released nothing. So which means they're trying to keep Oscar Valdez under wraps because they know media waiting to talk to him. Like, yo, so the herbal tea, where did you get the herbal tea? Do you drink tea every day? Like, you know how much, just like Deontay Wilder, you know, just, you know, was silent. They're going to get Valdez too. So Top Rank protecting him. And, you know, and his team protecting him. You know, Eddie Reynoso going to be there. They're protecting his ass too. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Hey, I take snack, all right? This shit make your heart race like a motherfucker, man. I had to stop. So we ain't going to have no snack slander here. How about that? So I'm getting up out of here. We will be back tomorrow, and there's a lot of videos this week, and it's already Tuesday, so it's going to be a short week. So I'm going to take a little hour off from the PC, come back here, start pumping out some more videos. Been the most consistent 3 months on the channel that I've had in years. Shout out to the 7,000 plus people that subscribed since June. Like, shit is really, you know. And also, I'm behind, but I'm going to need all of you here to download the WBC Network app. All right?
How dare you?
Valdez on that slim tummy tee. And he's going to have the nerve to say, well, you know, why would I take something that would have me lose weight when, you know, it was so early from the fight? Why wouldn't I take, you know, an anabolic steroid? Like, man, nobody trying to hear that shit. And we're in a social media age. Of course he should have known he was going to get his ass chewed out. Like, we're in a social media age. You can't just come on social media these days thinking it's sweet. Go talk about some it's herbal tea. Like, motherfuckers ain't going to start clowning you and getting to the Twitter fingers and shit. They tearing his ass. I didn't know he was this popular. Because he's been the talk of all boxing media and all boxing circles. Listen, Twitter is in the uproar, bro. Twitter is in the uproar. Like, they are whooping his ass. And then you got Victor Conti and Mimo Heredia, two PD gurus going at it. Like, he really fucked some shit up. Let me tell you something. It's even a race war. It's a race war on Twitter right now. It's a race. And somehow Caleb Plant is now accusing Canelo. It's crazy shit. It's crazy shit. But I just be scrolling, smoking, just scrolling, just like, you know, scrolling, smoking. Just like, yo, these people are crazy. They're nuts. Anyway, I'm getting up out of here. Now they calling the whole Canelo camp drug cheats, bro, and editing and memeing all these pictures. It's nuts. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. I'm going to edit the first 9 minutes out. So it's going to be a nice 40-minute video. Anyone want to check it out, share with your friends and family. September is going to be a very, very good month. Please subscribe and T Street Controversy with 5v360.com.